All right, I said I wasn't gonna go get involved with all of this protesting because my family. I grew up in a family where we was fighting for, you know, rights for minorities to get work on construction sites, and my sister put in years from like the 70s, and long story short, not ready to tell that story right now. That's up to her to tell her story. But um, it was our own people that took us down. Um, it was our own brothers that, after putting a lot of people, to work in men and changing their lifestyle and changing them from, um, no job to living in middle class communities, to having work on a regular basis, coming out of jail and um, providing them, with jobs that paid well, and just to hard fight with the unions and getting up on construction jobs and stuff like that. The outcome at the end of the day was, you know, uh, it wasn't appreciated by our own people. Like the same people that we put to work is the same people that almost, took our lives. You understand what I'm saying? That came up against us. It wasn't white people that stopped us, it was black people that stopped us. So, with all the protests going on and a lot this year, a lot of stuff going on this year. Every time you turn around, it's something which I don't want to get heavily involved with. But tonight I seen something. I was scrolling through Instagram and I seen my son again. He's really sticking his neck out there for black people and standing up, in the front lines of this situation and using his voice. He's a very good speaker, and I appreciate his efforts. And let me just say, I'll pray for him. You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we fight for our people, and it be our own people that take us down. That's one point I want to make. The next point I want to make is that I worked for the police department before. It was not in a police officer's position, it was just the traffic agent. But still, in all, without any weapons on my hip or anything like that to use, issuing people summonses, um, and I felt the effect of pulling up on people or on people's vehicles, and they catch you giving them a ticket, and they might not be in the vehicle at the time. They may be running out from the store frantic because people can't really afford to pay their bills and get tickets. So some people be irate, and the thing is that that particular job wasn't really. I mean, how much was I getting? Like $500 a week or something like that. It wasn't worth my life. But in order to earn a small living, I had to basically put my life on the line because you don't know who you're gonna encounter. You approaching different people vehicles, and sometimes the people's in the vehicles and some people time the people are not. What I'm trying to say is that the officers have a hard job, and they are approaching different situations. If they're not pulling the car over, not knowing what to expect out of that situation, if they not, knocking on people's doors. In this situation, it was a no knock thing where I guess they need to change the laws, as far as that no knock policy, and as far as Breonna Taylor's situation. And she was such a young girl, that her life, was taken away from her. But I just wanted to, before I got into the situation, into my opinion or giving my opinion about the situation, I just want to state that for anybody who haven't ever experienced working for law enforcement, you do want to make it home to your family. You understand what I'm saying? And you have a job that's putting your life at risk, and it's not paying you $1 million a year. It's not making you a millionaire. Maybe the officers is able to pay a mortgage, take out a mortgage for a house and live in maybe a little better community or whatever the situation is because it's officer next door or something like that. Or, maybe they have a decent ride, but it's not really um, you know, you really just putting your life at risk basically because you don't know who you're going to encounter or what you're going to encounter behind that closed door. So, with all that out the way, let's just say, okay, so we're fighting for officers that unfairly treat when black people compared to how they treat white people in a situation. If the way they came upon black people or how they lash out towards black people in situations, if it was equally towards white people that way, then we could just say, you know, they need to be more well trained. But in this situation, it's like I've seen, and everybody's seen it. It be on World Star, be all over the internet. It be going viral where an officer can think, mistake a phone for a gun with a black man and shoot him, or I thought that phone was a gun. And then with a white guy, he could actually have a gun, waving a gun, this, that, and other, and they take him down without shooting him or without killing him. So it's with black people that the white officers, I don't know if it's a fear thing or if it's a they just don't care, situation, like give me a reason and I'm killing you. You understand what I'm saying? But when it come down to, white people, they give them chances over and over and over again. Like, I seen one white guy, he just had a gun and, the officers was risking their life and making sure that they wasn't gonna shoot him or kill him, that they was gonna take him in without harm. All of these school shootings where they do mass shootings and stuff, they be taking them, the white kids in without harm, taking them out to eat and all kind of stuff before they take them to jail and stuff like that. So the care that they take for white people, they don't take that for black people. Now, I didn't really know everything, all the particulars of the Breonna Taylor's case because, like I said, I really didn't want to get involved with all of the protesting. I don't want to really stay in the front line of whatever the situation is in every incident because all the way from Al Sharpton and before him, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, this just does not ever stop. You understand what I'm saying? With fighting for black people, so your whole life will be just turned into fighting for your people. And then the thing about it is that do your people really, um, respect what you're doing? You understand what I'm saying? Like, if somebody paid them off, like, would they, come against you and take you down? You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, from my own family, personal experience, you understand what I'm saying? Um, it'll make you not want to get involved basically. You understand what I'm saying? But this situation I had to speak on it because I seen something on Instagram with my son, he's on Nick Cannon, and he's talking about, black women haven't had the proper respect or support, not from their own brothers, from their own men, their own black men. You understand what I'm saying? And he's trying to speak, you know, behind this Breonna Taylor situation, that black women should get, be respected more so, and even the black man should, boost her up and, make others respect the black woman, because he's saying like, they got some justice for some of the black men that had wrongfully been killed by police officers, but as far as the black woman is concerned, they haven't received any justice from any of the incidents with harm towards the black women. You understand? It's like we're the lowest on the totem pole. You understand what I'm saying? So, um, if, like I said in another video, if you don't demand respect for your mama, you understand what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna really, your community can't come together. You understand what I'm saying? Because in anybody else's community, you have to go in their house and you have to respect their mother. You understand what I'm saying? And their mother speak wise words and they listen. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the same thing for the black woman. You have to start demanding respect, and okay, we know we had a crack era where a lot of black women and Spanish women, plenty of people got caught up in that era, and like the Tupacs of the world came out and sung about it. That his mother used to be a cracker. That doesn't mean all of us. You understand what I'm saying? And even if we had our time with that, there's a lot of people um, who changed their lives around. There's a lot of educated black women, with degrees and PhDs and stuff like that, that you can, respect your black woman. You understand what I'm saying? And you have to demand and respect for it. So, um, I couldn't. I did a video before this one about Dr. Dre and his wife, but I just felt uneasy that I couldn't just lay my head down and rest, because I go live from my bed. Um, I said I wouldn't get involved with all of the protesting and all of that stuff like that, and I didn't want to put myself involved with it, because a lot of times we get um, opposition from our own people. You understand what I'm saying? For money. You understand what I'm saying? Because everybody's so money hungry. But in this situation, when I Googled Breonna Taylor and her situation, she was so young. Her life was cut short. So early, and she seemed to be like a decent young lady, like growing up to be a decent young lady. I really don't know what the total story is. I think they entered the wrong house, or they thought drugs was being sold, or what have you, and they had a no knock search warrant, which they need to change that law. So I just couldn't rest my head without speaking about her and um, all of the stuff that's going on this evening. I think two officers were shot. I think they out there. They burning the courthouse or whatever the situation is. It's like how many protests took place this year. It's like you know, I'm proud of the effort, um, that black people are putting forward this past year here. It's like um, we getting stronger and stronger, but I'm trying to, you know, I'm hoping at nobody's expense that, one of our leaders get killed for, leading the front line, being on the front line or anything like that. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the only thing. Um, I hope it doesn't lead to, somebody being killed for putting themselves on the front line and speaking out for black people. Because, we need somebody to have that kind of heart. You understand what I'm saying? After all that, I say that we experience, from our own people, we need to like stand together and stop being sellouts. You understand what I'm saying? And don't let other people pin us against each other. You see what I'm saying? Because most fights will start out like we fighting for our rights. We fighting for our rights. We want jobs, or we want, you know, um, to stop the police brutality against black people. And then next thing you know, we'll turn around and it'll be us against us. However they make that thing turn, like they'll have another group of black people fighting against black people. You understand what I'm saying? So instead of us, the whole attention will be taken away from fighting for our rights to fighting against each other. And that's what I grew up in, because everybody wanted to have their little organization. So instead of we fighting the white people to get on jobs, they had us fighting against each other. So, and just like any of our other leaders that stood up for us and spoke out against, the wrongs towards black people, like the Malcolm X and Martin Luther Kings, they all got shot down and stuff like that. So, um, I'm just praying and hoping for like the Mysons and everybody else that is taking a stance. I'm very proud of the situation, and this is why I'm making this video. To say that I did see him on Nick Cannon's show. I'm glad to see that Nick Cannon is continuing on with his I think it's like a podcast show um, or whatever he got going there. I'm glad that he's moving forward because he developed shows that you know wasn't trademarked by himself. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so they was able to fire him. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to stop creating stuff and not patenting it ourselves, not trademarking the name and all of that stuff like that ourselves. So we have to learn to do the business end of stuff. You understand what I'm saying? And then when we do create stuff, we have to stop selling it. So, like I said, every time somebody uh, is saying something about hip hop, every time somebody black is saying something about hip hop, it's not too well received because it just doesn't seem like, you know, black people own hip hop. You understand what I'm saying? Because the record companies is all sold over, and your masters, you sign contracts and stuff like that, so they be owning your brand and stuff like that. So we just have to start holding on to our stuff. You understand what I'm saying? And letting the money come gradually, opposed to them saying, well, here's $1 million, here's $10 million. You understand what I'm saying? But you have to sign this contract, sign the rights over to us. So while they give you 10 million, they making $1 billion off of your, you know, creativity. You understand what I'm saying? Your literature and all of that stuff like that. So I just couldn't lay my head down and rest well without speaking on Breonna Taylor. And I don't even think I'm not sure if I did make a video about George Floyd. I just didn't feel like I was ready to be getting involved in and speaking about all that stuff because you know I've had so much problems with my own people uh, trying to start my own business and the opposition against, and then just watching the hip hop community where we don't like to see each other, come up in life and stuff like that. So that needs to change. All right, so I'm out. I said what I had to say, justice for Breonna Taylor. And I understand that her family got a settlement and stuff like that. So at least that came out of it. But I also wanted to say that the officers, you know, they are trying to make it home to their families at night too. For anybody who's ever worked in law enforcement, they understand what I'm saying. Each stranger that you approach trying to give them a ticket, stop their car, or knock at their door, you don't know if that's going to be the end of your life, if that person's going to pull out a gun because of your uniform and shoot you right there, or what the situation is going to be. So at the same time, I understand both sides. They didn't probably know what was on the other end of that other side of that door, what they was going to encounter, if they thought it was a drug house, if, and a shootout did ensue because her man shot one of the officers, is what I do understand. So um, that law, it's a lot of laws that need to change. They need to open up all those law books and stuff like that because remember, we was just property. We wasn't considered, and I think in some laws we're not still not considered 100% human beings. You understand what I'm saying? So they had us as property. So it's a lot of laws, and not until we come into different incidents are they addressing each one? They need to go through all those laws and change all those laws, and everybody need to be treated equally. You understand what I'm saying? If you're gonna shoot a black man down, you need to shoot the white man down. You understand what I'm saying? If you're gonna, if a white man's gonna be waving a gun, or a white kid's gonna shoot up the school and you're gonna take him in without incident, without killing him, or whatever. The same thing should be for the black people. You're quick to, shoot a black man down and kill him, and then still be handcuffing him while he's dying on the ground. You understand what I'm saying? So, but we do need to care for about ourselves first before other nationalities is going to care about us. You understand what I'm saying? And we have to uplift the mother, the black woman, in order to get our community together. So um, I hope I'm understood the way I'm explaining myself. I hope that I'm understood and I don't explain every little detail out because some of the stuff that I'm talking about is um, has to be approved by other people in their situations. So when I talk about, my personal life or my family or whatever the situation is, that's, not only my situation. I'm not the head in that situation. So that story have to come out for itself for people to understand what I'm talking about. But my family do have experience in fighting for minority rights. Okay, so and at the end we had a bad outcome that made me shy away from fighting or protesting any further. You understand what I'm saying? But tonight I did want to speak on Breonna Taylor because she's a black woman and they putting every foot forward um, to make sure that the word is out there. You understand what I'm saying? And the officers, you know, we didn't get justice in that way. I think she settled for 12 million or whatever the situation is, but we just keep up the efforts, and they starting to see that we're getting stronger and stronger in our protests. So they're gonna have to make some changes eventually. All right. So good night, y'all.